ways. And those three states of matter have all been connected to chakras. We've always had a state of matter sitting there with each of the chakras. However, there are two other ones that we need to add in here. Okay, one of them is plasma, and it was interesting to notice for me to note when the astronauts were talking yesterday. We were listening coming down. They talked about plasma. I thought, wow, they're talking about it, but they're not really giving its full meaning for everyone else. They're just talking about. But one is plasma. And this is pretty widely accepted in the scientific community. And the fifth one is ether, which is totally ignored. While accepted prior to the 1900s, back in the 1800s, it was out there as a sort of a state of matter. It wasn't totally endorsed, but it was there. But then after Einstein came in, it didn't match up completely with his theory of MC squared, and they pitched it back out. And if the scientists are working with the concept of our universe that doesn't include all five states, then the picture they're giving us is incomplete, incorrect, causing problems. Okay, so we have to become a little more aware of this truthful one. And Amy, I think you're up to doing a little talking and sharing.
Oh, do you? Well, so have you said everything? And I guess I'm wanting to just slow down because when we're talking about the sixth chakra. So here is the place of vision, perception. It's how we see, how we know reality in the world. And so we're talking about different states of matter, and we're getting into this piece on ether and the importance of it. So do you want to say anything else about that, Granny J? About
Yeah. Are you on page 2 at the bottom?
yes.
Okay. So let's look a little more closely at this ether. It is the primary matter of the universe. I mean, it is the thing out of which the universe is made, because all of the other states are made from it. It is it's an ocean of clear light in which electromagnetic waves arise, and they travel through the entire universe, and then they dissolve back into it. They can polarize themselves into positive and negative poles. Uh, they they are they go through some various torsions, and they spin, and as they spin, they become plasma, which then spins into gases, which then spins into liquids, which then spins into solids. So everything is made of ether, and you go from one state to the next state by these electromagnetic waves that begin spinning. And as they spin, they change into another state. Okay. Ether is the source of all energy in the universe. It is the medium through which the word vibrates. It gives rise to light. One could say, in a religious sense, that ether is the heavens. In many cultures, the word ether is synonymous with the word God. So if you were present with the geometry of ether, and this was where we began to look, and I'm encouraging you to look for the patterns in nature because they are repetitive. Okay? So if we look at that, ancients caused this repetitive geometry sacred geometry. And everything conforms to one or more sacred geometric forms. And these are energy patterns. They're energy patterns. So there are only 5 basic energy patterns that organize structure. It is evidenced in the power of the harmony that we find in nature. Ether arranges itself in what the 5 Platonic shapes, where all the faces and the edges are equal and that fit into a sphere. Amy, do you have a picture of that to show them the 5 shapes? The
Yeah.
cube is 1, hexagon's 1. I don't recall what the other 3 are, and I can't tell by looking. Can you show that picture of the 5 shapes?
Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Let me see. I was messing around with this earlier. I don't know if I can or not
Okay.
in the
So
format that we've got
just
it.
make a little note to yourself to go online and ask for sacred geometry, the 5 Platonic shapes.
Here, let's see. Oh, I wish I could. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can do this. Hold on.
Okay.
Hmm.
If you copy them off on a separate
Here.
page, use a, there they
Uh,
are.
here.
There they are in the middle.
Uh,
Those are the 5 shapes. There, every shape in the universe is built off of one of these 5 shapes. Okay? So, and that would be true whether they are all some repetitive patterns that we call fractals, okay? And that's true whether we're talking about atoms or whether we're talking about stars or whether we're talking about galaxies.
mhm. Yeah.
I think you're reading next.
You want me to pick up there, Granny Jay?
Yeah, why don't you? So they have some other voice other than this one coming through.
Mm. So for me, it's what we're saying here is that you remember Granny Jay was talking a lot. I remember you referenced this a lot with the fifth chakra, Granny Jay. It's that in the beginning was the word, and the
Yeah,
word. This is what we're saying is that this isn't just a metaphor or it's not just like a spiritual abstract statement. It's that our sound, our presence, the truth that we speak, it literally creates through ether and matter. The matter that we can't see, but the matter that's there nonetheless, it creates patterns, and it's through that that we create reality. So this
yeah,
is huge. So these sacred geometry, I mean, I've been working with fractals for a long time in leadership development, all the stuff around emergent strategy and Meg Wheatley and systems thinking and all this. But what we're saying is that these sacred geometry, these patterns show up in all that spirit is matter. That's what we're saying in the sixth. There is no difference. That matter is spirit, spirit is matter. And these patterns, these fractals, are in every living thing. It's how we reproduce. And so to begin to see, not just with our physical eyes, but with the third eye, these patterns.
or
And
to even know that they exist and begin to look for them and feel them.
and what's natural and and where there's harmony and where there's not. Um, so Anna, I know that you and I share a love of seashells because every time you go to the beach, you always bring me a seashell. Sacred geometry, these fractals, they show up in the form of spirals, like in the seashells. It's in the branches of trees. When you look at nature, it's the best way to teach us and to show us how life is formed.
For example, on trees, leaves and branches. the branches on trees. They are either alternate, going up a branch, opposite, and one tree is whorled, has three of them going around. Those are the only patterns that you find. If you look at patterns of leaves, they're either patterned like your hand, or they're patterned coming off of a rib and they're parallel veins going up. There aren't a lot of patterns. So if you start looking for patterns, and flowers, if you look at flowers and their structure, there are patterns to those. So life hasn't evolved in an abstract flip-flop manner. Life has evolved based upon the sacred geometry and the energies of it. Okay? And we too have evolved that way. Our bodies, as are all bodies, are really electromagnetic waves shaped by geometry. Okay? Our ear actually mirrors the spiral that's found throughout the whole universe. Okay? Eileen McCusick uses tuning forks, which vibrate with the frequency that aligns with the geometry of the cosmos. Like she's using not just accidental frequencies; those frequencies are all aligned with solfeggio and fibronatic resonance. So those are all deliberately chosen frequencies because they align with the universe. Okay, so if you take, if you look at, see, I already talked about the spiraling on the branches. I got ahead of my script here. I got excited. If you have some seashells, I mean, that's
right there with you too, Granny J.
Oh, yeah, you understand. Thank you. Right. Why don't you check out the Fibonacci? That's Fibronacci sequence, which underlines all the structure in the universe. The entire structure of the universe can be explained by this one sequence.
Is that Fibonacci, Jimmy?
Yeah.
What is it? Say it again.
It's called Fibonacci.
Fibonacci.
Yeah.
Capital Fibronacci. Can you put up that page?
Yeah, let me see if I can do it again. Also, while I'm doing that, Anna has a great question about what the difference is between ether and gas.
Okay. Well, gas is made up of atoms, right? And that's made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Okay? But those electrons and protons and neutrons have a pattern. That gives you an atom. And of course, atoms of different elements have different numbers of those three things. Ether is isolated electrons, isolated proton-like structures. They're slightly different than that, but they're isolated entities of electricity, magnetism floating about. So just think of them as a bunch of maybe electrons, protons, and neutrons not attracted to each other in any way, just floating around in,
like unbound.
Yeah, they're unbounded. They can become anything.
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
That is about the best I can do. I am just not that good a physicist that I can rip that off.
I think you got a lot on all of us, so you're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's this image too, Granny J, that you wanted me to pull up. The Fibonacci.
Yeah, pull it up. Right.
Yeah. Can you all see that? It's kind of like a spiral right here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's a spiral that starts there in the middle, and that little purple thing, and then comes and flows out. And that's the series of numbers. And that Fibonacci set of numbers is if you, to get that series of numbers like 1 and 1, the next number is 3. Let's see, how does it go? You add the last 2 numbers to get the next number. So 1 and 2 added is 3. 2 and 3 is 5. 3 and 5 is 8. 8 and 5 is 13. Do you see those coming up there on the spiral?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get that sequence of numbers. And that's where numbers like 528 and 740 and those come from. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Leah just said that. Wow.
Yeah. So we are a one. Everything is constructed on a repetitive pattern. We're all connected by this ether. We are light. We are frequency waves. We flow. We're not these physical bodies at all.
So are the rest of you not sleeping like I'm not sleeping?
I have some trouble sleeping.
No.
But that's not unusual because when I go to bed, a lot of times suddenly a thought comes into my mind and I want to get up and operationalize it immediately. And it's whether or not I turn that off is another thing. How about you, Marcia?
Honey, I sleep anytime, anywhere.
Me
You've been
too,
sleeping a lot.
Marcia.
Yeah,
Wow.
you've been sleeping a lot. Yes.
And the past 3 weeks, I've been oversleeping.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
I
all
have a question. I have a
yeah,
question.
perfect. Yeah.
The word plasma, and I think it's relative to if anyone watched the astronauts coming back. They mentioned about the blackout and plasma, and that part of that issue was energy around that spaceship as it was re-entering. And they mentioned the word plasma. What's the relationship? And then I want to talk about the what happened. If you had any chance to see the astronauts the day after when they interviewed the 4 astronauts, it is an incredible viewing, understanding how this team of 4 people came together in a vulnerable situation. So anyway, but plasma, tell me more about that.
Well, I really don't know Mary, but I think as we were talking when they mentioned the word plasma, the scientists are aware of plasma. And that is what can I say? It's not solid, but it is a more substantial flow of energy or wave-like energy without going through a wire. It's just, but so this space capsule coming down, I mean, good Lord, that thing was traveling 10,000 miles, it was traveling at an unbelievable speed. So you can imagine the amount of friction of whatever that air is up there in the cosmos. It was coming down through that. So it was gathering an enormous amount of energy around it. And that energy must have, what can I say? The amount of it must have been such that it formed the type of energy that they call plasma. And,
Interesting.
plasma was not something that was in my physics class back in 1950. It wasn't there, and it isn't in a physics class today. You pick up a physics book and you're not going to see anything but the 3 states of matter. They're not going to talk about plasma and ether. And if you don't talk about that, you can't get into the spiritual world, because that is the world of spirit. Okay, and that is who we are. We're not bodies, but we have a body, and that's our operating machine. That's our automobile. That's our airplane. What do you want to call it? It's our e-bike, you
Hmm.
know. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, what
so,
other what other questions, insights have come up, you all, as we make the turn the bend here and get ready to close down?
are we running out of time?
Yeah, we've got about 8 minutes left. Carla?
Yeah. Okay, you all are going to think I've completely lost my noodle on this, but we we were just watching this old Donald Duck episode movie called Donald Duck in Mathemagic Land. It was produced back in the 60s, and they used to use it in the classroom, and we still have a copy of it. And it goes into this kind of detail that we're talking about, these golden geometric shapes. It stops shy of course, getting to the spiritual, but it's just like right there, it's just like for your grabbing, and it's on YouTube. So Google Donald Duck in Mathemagic Land, and if nothing else, you'll enjoy watching Donald Duck.
Well, thank
This
you.
is actually a perfect example, Carla, of what we're talking about with the sixth chakra. Because in some ways you could look at something like that and think, yeah, you're crazy, you know? And yeah, and maybe you are a little bit, but you know what, Carla, we all are. We're all a bunch of weirdos. You were able to make that connection and see that this is actually information, that there's something being communicated to you.
Right. And you are our messenger to us. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think
This is all what sixth chakra is about, is intuition, seeing,
intuition,
knowing, yeah, guidance. Yes. So
Yeah.
Donald Duck and the mathematician.
Mathemagic Land.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're sort of saying in this next sort of month, as we need to experience some of this, and the only I suggest you look up these 5 states of matter and read a little bit about them, think about them. They exist. I think that would be a good thing. But I think the the best way to do this is when you interact with anything that is living, please note that it is living and consciously flow your energy out to it and be aware of what flows back. Now, you've all done it with your cat. Marcia, I know you've done it with your cat. Mary does it with Riley all the time. You're used to doing that with your pets, and you do that with your grandchildren, but become aware of that. Anything which is alive, flow out and open to receive. I don't know what else I can say, but if you begin to knowingly experience it, it's going to happen more often. Okay? You're gonna open up and receive more. You're going to flow more. You're going to become more aware of this. We're going through this narrow little neck. We're going through the eye of the needle. And to do that, you have to begin to experience spirit. You have to get more in the spiritual world and know that the only thing that's real in this world is spirit. I've got a book that I read many years ago that says everything's a hologram. Very interesting book. It caused me to pause and think. But everything apparently is a hologram. It is solid indeed. You can't jump off a 10-story building and not have the effect. But what's real, lasting, and eternal is spirit. You know, so you need to be respectful of other people. If you flow out to someone and you feel some ridging, just get back in your body and smile sweetly and say something, you know,
I'm wanting, yeah, I'm really wanting to bring in the passing of my mother here because I think for those of us that have experienced that, we know, like there's evidence of the very thing that Granny J. It's not some abstract thing. We know that the body drops and that life is eternal, you know. And so yeah, just bringing in that experience that I know many of us have had, and the same is true with birth. Yeah, the birth, the little soul's already here, you know, and it's been on its way for a very long time. And maybe we've had some journeys together before, but wow, to know each other in this incarnation. So, we're talking about a whole other huge reality that has many dimensions that are going to open up to us as we welcome it and participate. So, yeah, let's have some fun. And is there anything else that wants to be shared?
Yeah. And I need to say my battery says I have low power. It's plugged in. And I'm on low mode. If I disappear, I'll be out with Mary.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're right here at end. Is there anything else? Let's just hear a couple more minutes. We're wrapping up.
I
feel
have
like we just
something.
got started.
I know. I'm missing. I think maybe we need to I'm feeling like this is so short, the hour.
An hour. I was gonna ask you why did we change to 1 hour? Because y'all are dropping some big truths on us, and then you're like, all right, have fun out there.
Okay, so yeah, maybe we should yeah, maybe there's like some flexibility with the hour then. We were wanting to honor that because that's what we had said. Yeah, I see that, Leah. Yeah, it does feel rushed. I agree. Okay.
I think if any of you have experiences this month, it would be a good idea if you just share them with other people, or if they're concerning to you, contact Amy or I. You know, because when you open yourself up, things happen. You know, and you guys have been really brave. You're still on the path. And hanging tight.
What were you going to say, Daniel?
I was going to say that my psychiatrist, in listening to me, focused on one word as she was trying to land the diagnosis. And that was something that I expressed about me at 8 years old. And the word was energy. And she just tracked that all the way through. And she goes, that's really what I'm hearing. Energy. That's your characteristic. That's your quality. And I'm listening to this and I'm going, no wonder she can't land the diagnosis.
Right. Right.
It's life.
It's going away. I mean, at 2 a.m. every night, my light switch goes on. It's simply like that. Clear, no anxiety, no worry, clear as a bell, looking around, woke. That's all it is. And I can't go back to sleep. So now I have new research to do. Thank you for all the homework. I'm going to be looking up everything you just recommended. I have plenty of time. It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing.
My partner wakes up at the same
I'd
time.
like to make a suggestion that last session, that we go to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Any takers on that?
I will.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too, Mary. Thank you for speaking that so clearly. Yeah, because it's not meant to be diagnosed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we need to listen to each other and support each other during this process.
You were talking about vibrations and being aware. I had this thing happen as I was starting the gardening season. I picked up I think it was a shovel, a pitchfork or a shovel, wooden, with a wooden handle. And I was just using it, and I kept feeling like these vibrations in my hand, and they were deep.
Mhm.
And at first I thought, what the heck am I, am I hitting the earth a certain way? And I'm like, no, there's no way. And then I heard something, and there is some insect, and it very well may be a carpenter bee, that over the winter had bore a hole in that wooden handle and is down in that handle. I didn't hear it,
Interesting.
but I felt it. It's like, and I didn't just feel it. I felt it like throughout my whole body. So when I kind of figured out what was sort of going on, I thought, okay, I'm just going to take it back over and put it back over here in its home, for it to be in its home. But it was just really interesting how I felt those vibrations from my hands and like up through here. It's
Wow.
really cool.
That is super cool. I have a similar kind of fun story to share. I was at this grocery store a couple weeks ago, and at the checkout line, and the woman that was the cashier she was miserable. And I was watching her be so just pain spilling out on every person she interacted with. This sweet little couple in front of me, she was just being such a shithead. And I was like, wow, wow. And so I thought, okay, I was in the place, I was not going to take that on. And also, I wanted to just like change the vibe because, you can feel it. You can feel it as you're saying. And so as I got closer to her, I started singing a song, just like, I don't even know what it was, just singing a song. And she changed, her behavior changed. And the guy behind me, we had the sweetest little interaction. He's like, "Hey, sunshine." I said, "Oh, hey, sunshine." And it was like, wow, it changed. So it is, yeah, I've been playing around with how to meet misery,
Mm-hmm.
how to meet misery and know it is suffering. It's suffering. How to meet it though and change the sound of it in me, how to protect my sound, my peace, and also, yeah. The carpenter bee.
Yeah, I love that bee medicine, and I love both of your examples. Your stories are so sweet, where like Carly, your story made me think of my lesson with bees was just fully being stung, 7 stings all down the right side of my body. I'm like, all right, fine. Like, what the hell is the universe trying to tell me? So anyways, we all have our process, but mine tends to go in that direction a lot of the time.
Mm, beautiful.
All right, loves. Well, we're at time for tonight, and I think it's wonderful to know we'll set the intention together and have a little bit more time next time we're together. But until now and then, play around with the sixth chakra. We'll send out some things to look up, and including the recording. Yeah, Granny J, looks like you have some final words for us.
Let's see. I don't know where they are. I'm looking for them, Amy. I'm looking. Oh, yes. I want to just say, let your energy flow out to all these other forms. Don't just talk with another person or just pet your dog or cat. Flow your energy out to him. Feel it flow out. Send it out. See if they are aware of your presence and what happens when you flow out, and do they flow back? Be very respectful of other people's auras. Some people really protect their boundaries very, very strongly, and when they become aware you're flowing out, that boundary line becomes very, very obvious. So become aware of that. Talk, and when you talk with them, talk as spirit to spirit. not brain to brain, but spirit to spirit, mind to mind, because mind is spirit. And be aware when your present overwhelms another, and reduce it. And if your spirit is lifting them up, keep lifting them up. You know, maybe you play around this a little bit this coming month with when you interact with people, whatever their level of energy is, see if you can raise it up, because we need to raise up our energy really high on this planet so we can override the pull down of our current political viewpoint of our leadership. So have fun. It should be, you should be walking on air when we come back. There's nothing like talking spirit to spirit to cause you to walk on air.
All right. On that note, everybody, so much love. Take good care. We'll see you next month.
Blessings.
We love you.
Love you. Thank you,
Love
Leah.
you too.
Love you too.
Yay!